and welcome back to Up the Park, a football podcast, a podcast dedicated to the shittest football team in European football this season, Heart of Midlothian. That's us back this season, weekly uploads, back to talk about the shite. That's when we're back anyway. We've got Sean with us here.
Hello everybody.
And we've got a new member to the squad, Jason.
Hello.
Would you like to tell us a bit about yourself, Jason?
I used to be happy until I got a season ticket at Hearts. The new season ticket holder this year. Supported them for a wee while now, and when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's terrible.
When it's bad, it's 5-1 if you're a deal.
4-0 to Rangers.
Ever since Jason got his season ticket, we've been shite.
No, it's not. I did blame Jason. I blame when they put the two screens up.
Sorry,
As soon as the screens went up, it was like, let's just stop winning.
Oh yeah, to be fair, we beat Ross County and Dundee United, and then we've
The
just
screen
been
went
shit.
up.
Ah yeah.
And then every time now they play the song and we see our team sheet on the lovely new screens,
This song
It's-
lyrics are wrong on the screen to
Yeah.
start with.
then it just becomes... people pay weekly to see a therapist. I pay weekly to get depressed.
Aye.
By watching Hearts
Yeah,
this season,
that's
it's
what it's
been
been like.
so bad.
It gets cured though when you win.
Once every so... Well, what is it now?
yeah.
It'll be what? Well, it's 21 games and 5 wins, so it's 1 win in every 4.
It's good, that isn't it?
It started off well, winning against County and Dundee United, and then it turned
Yeah.
sour.
It is worrying because the only time we beat Dundee United was when they were genuinely terrible. I reckon if we played them now, we'd probably lose.
I don't know. We should be good enough to beat these sort of teams. You know, we're just recording straight away after the Fiorentina game.
Yeah.
And we have just witnessed a first half that has been shocking. Like, so shocking, it's unbelievable. Like, they just didn't do anything different until the second half. Until they put Haddon at the back, and we played a back three like we did all of last season, that helped, and it worked. It's just been so poor.
Yeah, there's so many tactical decisions that have been wrong this season, so many team selections. I understand injuries, but, you know, Toby Sibbick's not had the greatest start to the season, but if you need a centre-back to play when your main centre-backs are injured, you don't play Alex Cochrane at centre-back.
Yeah.
He's about, well, how tall is he? 5'4" or something? He's built to be a pacey left wing back, and he's just... It makes him look bad because he's not bad. He's a very good player.
Yes.
I think that's the issue though, like even with Stephen Kingsley, like you were saying before, Jason, that you feel sort of bad for him when he's playing all of them positions, and he's an actual left back.
Well,
he's not even really a centre back, is he?
To be honest, there's an argument to be made. Apart from Craig Gordon last season, Kingsley's probably Hearts' best player.
Yeah.
In his natural position.
Yeah, Craig Halkett as well.
Or on the left of a back three where he can play. But the night it was right-sided centre-back with a left-back next to him and then another left-back. And it just doesn't work.
No, it
and
doesn't.
He looks lost.
The whole team looks lost.
Because the people who are playing there are not natural in that position. So he's having to do the work of 3 players rather than just his own.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you have an injury crisis, and I understand it, obviously Halkett's injured, Nielsen was suspended, and obviously Rolls is injured. The 2 backups to our centre back too should be Haran and Sibbick. So why is he insisting on playing Alex Cochrane and Stephen Kingsley at centre back?
I just think there must be something in behind the scenes in the dressing room at training that shows that Sibbick can't play. You know, he's brought him on tonight because he has to.
And he's not played
There's
badly.
no other choice.
He's played okay.
He was alright.
He had a
So there
decent
must
game.
be
But
something.
again, he's a centre-back who's playing right wing-back.
He put him at right wing back.
Yeah.
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 The tactical decisions that have happened this season so far as well. I mean, even when we went out against them, even when we won against, when we drew against Kilmarnock, the decisions in the team, the substitutes when they were made, who he brought on, they were just they're bad decisions.
Yeah. That was that game was shocking at the
Yeah,
weekend.
it was.
Kilmarnock
That was shocking.
That was
Like,
one of the worst performances
honestly.
I've ever had to watch.
We are shit.
Yeah,
You know, we're shit.
There is.
You know what I mean?
Rescued by an absolute wonder goal
Oh,
for
yeah.
Atkinson
Yeah.
in the 93rd minute, which is just, it's no good enough.
It's been so poor this season. But I don't know if that's... Did we get lucky last season
Yes.
that all the other teams were shit? and
I
we
think
done well to secure third place.
the other team's not playing well, and Craig Gordon, those two massive factors papered over a lot
Yeah.
of cracks.
Plus the fact that we're now trying to balance Thursday, Sunday with a threadbare squad.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
I mean,
I,
we're struggling big time.
we are missing players, but at the same time, the players who we've signed to step in and cover those roles are not doing it. And we're relying on somebody like Keogh, who has never played in the Scottish League before. And now
Yeah.
he's starting every game. He's starting every week in central midfield. And you're just like, what are you meant to do? Even if you're a great player, you're going to struggle to just walk into a league that's obviously very different from where he's played before and just expect to give performances.
See, I find that decision strange because you've got Peter Haring warming the bench, who's played how many games in the Scottish League now?
Yeah.
He's experienced, and he's not had a great start to the season, but he's better in there than somebody coming in fresh who's got no idea what to expect.
No, I think Keogh's a good player, and he's been getting a lot of stick online from Hearts fans, but I don't see why.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why people think that he's a lot of talk but doesn't really do much. The Fiorentina game last week, he was alright, like, but again, he's in there against,
Exactly.
you know, fantastic midfielders.
Bonaventura.
That Amrabat, who
Bonaventura.
played for Watford in the Premier
Yeah.
League and stuff like that. You know, you can't really do much. Like,
You can't judge Keogh on his games against Fiorentina or his
whole-
game against Rangers. You know what I mean? Even though he was probably him and Humphreys were the best two players on the pitch against Rangers, you can't judge him on those games.
the whole
because-
team against Kilmarnock was shocking.
Yeah,
You know, there wasn't one
Can't
player
pick
except
one-
from Humphreys.
one good
Humphreys had a
performance,
decent game.
Humphreys had a good game against Fiorentina
yeah.
as well.
He played
Both
well
times,
tonight.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
have
he
to
did.
say, Humphreys has been a bit of a bright spark in the last few weeks.
And maybe that's forced Robbie Nielsen to make the change to put him up front tonight rather than Shanklin. I don't know if Shanklin's just getting a rest or Humphreys pushed him out of that role and he's getting a start.
And yet, if he's going to go to three at the back, why can he not play a 3-5-2 or a 5-3-2 and put Humphreys and Shanklin up top? Because they would complement each other quite well, I
They
think.
would.
Yeah.
Shanklin's not. Shanklin's a good goal scorer, but the style of football that Hearts play, whatever style that actually is, he doesn't suit it. He can't. He's not a player who should have his back to goal, and I don't understand when I'm seeing Lawrence Shanklin and I'm sitting there and he's facing me and the goal's the opposite way. I'm just like, what is the point of having him on the pitch? He should be in the box facing goal,
Yeah.
looking for Forrest and Mackay and players like that to find him in the box.
You saw that against Dundee United when he scored. It was a low cross into the box. He
Yeah,
was
exactly.
between the goalkeeper and the defender, and he scored. That's
exactly
where
where-
Shanklin needs to
Yeah,
play.
he's
That's-
a penalty box striker.
Whereas
Yeah, he is,
Humphreys can
yeah.
maybe be that link player between the midfield, making the runs. He's also really good in the air.
Humphreys should be playing the position that Boyce was playing, because I reckon Humphreys could do that job really well.
Yeah.
Because he can get the ball at his feet, he can pass, he's got a little bit of trickery, he's fast, he can score goals, and I never thought I'd be saying this, but we've massively missed Liam Boyce. Massively.
Yeah, he's
took him-
huge.
There is
He's
no
huge,
link
like-
player in that
Aye.
team to
Yeah.
link the attack and defence.
I know for a fact, me and Sean are in the same boat where we took him for granted a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
we were
definitely.
thinking
He's a good
we were
player,
thinking
like-
he needed dropped, and then now that he's no there, we're seeing what he actually does in that team, linking that midfield and whatever forwards playing.
I do think we've been unlucky with injuries this season, though. I do think if we had Boyce, Halkett, and Rolls fit for every single one of the games, we wouldn't be sitting 6th in the league, and we wouldn't have lost 4-1 tonight. I don't think, and we
5-1.
probably wouldn't have
5-1.
lost 5-1, and we probably wouldn't have lost 4-0 last week.
Well, the 4-0 was... There was a player sent off as well, it's like...
But the thing I have to bring up is the performance last week was shocking.
Yeah.
Oh,
There was
it
no pressure on the ball. We just let them play their game, and if you're going to do that with a team that have got players of that quality, you're going to lose by a big scoreline.
Yeah.
You have to get in their faces. You have to try.
No, it doesn't
There was
make
none
it-
of that
yeah.
last week at Tynecastle.
We played exactly like that against Zurich in the second game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the least you should expect at home for Hearts.
Definitely. And it's not just that, it's like our fans have been fantastic this season. Like
Oh.
we're packing out European games, they're selling out. We're packing Tynecastle on a Thursday night. It's always loud. The atmosphere was really, really good in the first 15 minutes of the Fiorentina game.
Aye. It was
but,
good outside this.
You know, it's hard. It's hard to keep an atmosphere up when you're 4-0 down
Yeah.
at half time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the atmosphere is a bit of a myth anyway, isn't it? We were saying it the last time
Yeah,
that
it is.
you know it's the same people that keep on complaining about the atmosphere that leave early every single
They're
game.
the first people out
Yeah.
the door.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
first people out the door.
So people need to put their money where their mouth is and stay and support the team. You know, everybody else will join in if you keep on going. You
Yeah.
know, there does need to be like a dedicated singing section.
Look at the away
Newcastle,
fans
like.
today. We're 5-1 down.
Yeah.
And they're still singing.
Yeah.
Still clapping away. They celebrated the goal like we just won the actual tournament, which is amazing to see. And you should be doing it. You know, it's a Fiorentina. We were looking at it before, and was it Bonaventura? Bonaventura gets paid the same amount as our entire team per week, just himself.
Jovic gets paid double.
Yeah,
a
Jovic
weekly
gets like
wage.
£150,000 a week.
I mean, these guys are international footballers as well.
He
playing
went for 50
week in,
million
week
2
out.
seasons ago, 3 seasons
Yeah,
ago.
that Bonaventura played something like 245 games for AC Milan.
yeah.
He's class. He never played tonight, but last week.
He was starting player for Italy at one point as well,
Aye,
wasn't he?
I mean, the Hearts players can't be expected to compete with
No.
that. But they should be expected to at least put a bit of effort in.
Yeah, you have to
I
try.
think that's why people get a bit angry, because nobody's expecting us to beat any of these teams.
Yeah.
You know, maybe RFS, but even them, you know, you're not really expecting to beat these teams. All you want is a good showing.
Yeah.
That's all Hearts fans want.
I'm not entirely sure of the people the names that sit around us, but there's a guy who sits next to one of yous, and he said last week, he's like, I don't understand why the Hearts players aren't just trying to play their normal game
Yeah.
against Fiorentina. He's like, they're panicking, and fair enough, they're a big team, but just play your game.
Yeah.
And if you lose doing that, fine, the fans will understand. But it was a whimper last week. Yeah, the support when the players came out the tunnel, it wasn't worthy of that performance, that's for sure.
Our fans have been too good for the performances
Big
this
time,
season.
big time.
And we're missing the big players. Like, who's actually showed up this season? What players have actually showed up and shown that they can keep this performance up every week?
Same old story, Craig Gordon. but
Yeah.
even then,
But
he's made
like,
some
he's making
horrible
mistakes.
mistakes this season.
I mean, it's tough because you're looking at that team, and if you go through the signings we've made, bar maybe Shankland, who's improved the squad? Kai Rolls definitely improved the squad.
Yeah.
He looked a really good
He's
player before his injury.
absolutely brilliant, right? Forrest,
I'd say there's an
better-
argument.
He's definitely better than Gino and GMS.
But he's probably our second best winger.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But that's how shit our squad is.
but that's what bugs me is you've got Barry Mackay on one side who's when he's on his day, he's obviously having a really tough time at the moment, but when he's on his day, he's the best player we've got. And then on the right hand side, you'll have Alan Forrest, who when on his day is absolutely fantastic. But the replacements for them are so poor.
yeah.
Like even Janelli on his day isn't that good. And GMS hasn't had a day for about 2 years.
We're still waiting to
I've
see
never,
the day.
never seen a good
Nah,
performance for that boy.
I don't
since
think
he's
I've
been
ever
at
seen
Hearts.
the day.
Nah.
No,
Um,
he's done.
He
He's
left
been
all his
done.
talent.
There's a
previous
reason
club.
he left America and went to the Scottish Championship.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he probably should be playing for Arbroath or something like that now. He doesn't. There's no, maybe for a Livy or a Ross County, but he should not be in a team that should be challenging for third place.
No.
No chance in hell. He doesn't even seem to bring anything to the team outside the pitch. Like you see them in training and stuff like that. He doesn't look like the sort of player who's like, oh, let's go to GMS and speak to him and see how he's getting on the day. See what experience I can learn from Gary Mackay-Steven. No, Snodgrass seems the only player that anybody actually goes to
yeah.
speak to.
I would argue probably Halliday as well.
And Halliday because he's experienced.
He's got plenty of experience.
Peter Haddon seems to get around and talk to the players a lot, and you've got those players, but GMS just seems to rock up, sit on the bench, come on for 20 minutes every so often.
I just think he's that bothered.
No, he doesn't look. He doesn't look. He's getting paid. The thing is, he'll be getting paid a decent wage
Aye.
because of where he's come from. But sorry, we've got the Man United game on at the same time, and they nearly scored. So.
That's why there's a silence.
There was a silence for a second there. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's really difficult to when you think about last season and all the good things we had to say. This season's the polar opposite.
Yeah.
It's hard to find, other than the Ross, is it Ross County? Ross County
The
game?
opening game.
Dundee
The opening
United.
game and the Dundee United game. It's really hard to find a positive.
The thing is, as well, the St Johnstone game, we were behind twice and we came back and won.
Yeah.
Showed a bit of fight, showed a bit of determination. Some of the decisions that day for the ref were
But even
terrible.
the start of that sentence, we were behind twice. This
We were behind twice. The defence has been
were shocking.
terrible this season. But Halkett's a big loss. A massive loss.
I'd say ever since that Hibs game, we've been shit.
Yeah.
That was the second
Ever
game. Of the
since-
second game of the
We
season.
should have
Ever
won that
since
game.
we've like conceded
That's what's
that,
annoying. We should have won that game.
We should have won
We
that
should have won
comfortably. We were the better
Yeah,
team,
we were much
by
better
far the
team.
better team.
Which is a rarity to say against Hibs because we tend to sort of drag our arses.
And that was a game where Barry Mackay showed up with the assist for Shankland.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
Really
show
good ball.
up. He's been invisible ever since.
that was his one
1 in
game
20.
a season.
Aye.
Yeah, that you can see why these players are playing for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see why he was playing for Fleetwood rather than Swansea 2
Yeah,
seasons ago.
and why Rangers were
Yeah.
quite happy to let him go.
The inconsistencies. Aye.
I mean, the only player who comes on and gives us all every single game is Cammy Devlin.
Yeah,
He
So-
sometimes gives a bit too much.
yeah, but even
Sometimes,
him,
yeah.
like he doesn't change a game.
No, he's in there to
He's
do.
not a player.
He's
that,
in there to do a very specific
Yeah,
job.
it's
Break
to
up
get
play,
the ball back.
break up play, and give it to the more attacking minded and more creative players. But the thing is, he can break up play, and if he gives the ball to Mackay, who's having a shit season, what that Cammy Devlin's done his part.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I just don't get it. We're so defensive. Like, our style of play is defensive. Like, that is the first word that comes to my mind.
Negative.
When you say Hearts and style, it's defensive
Yeah.
all the time. But we've got no defenders. So why wouldn't we
It
play
is so
attacking?
confusing to me why, when you're massively having a striker, a defensive dilemma, like we are right now, you still play 5 at the back.
Yeah.
You need 5 defenders to do that. We don't have 5 defenders.
Surely you attack more
Yeah.
to score more goals.
You have to say as well, the Hearts forward line, the front four, probably better than any of the other front fours
Oh, definitely.
outside of the old firm.
There's-
There's an argument to be made for Barry Mackay on his day is the best player outside Celtic and Rangers in the league. Maybe Martin
Yeah.
Boyle would be in with a shout on
Martin
his
Boyle,
day.
I hate saying that, but he's
I hate saying it as well,
class since
but
he came back.
you know, and obviously you've got Miovski at Aberdeen as well now, who seems to be.
Miovski's a really good player.
But-
Except from that miss against Dundee United.
Oh, shocking,
Oh,
shocking.
shocking.
But there's an
Brilliant.
argument to be made that the Hearts front four, which would have included Liam Boyce, better than any other front four outside of the old firm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could pick.
So-
You could pick players from other teams. Like I quite like that Nubile from Livy.
He's just big though, isn't he?
And it's not just that though. He's actually really good at football.
He's technically alright, but
Yeah.
he's just big though.
But is that not something that we seem to be lacking? Anybody who can hold up the ball?
Well,
Aye. Well,
this
that's why
is
I'm
the
a big-
problem.
Aye.
This is the problem. Why are we playing that sort of football?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we don't have
What-
that player.
Shankland isn't even over 6 foot, probably.
No.
You know what I mean?
His
Why?
forehead is.
Aye.
There's an argument to be made for that style of football. Why didn't they go and sign a striker to suit that? You know, like
Yeah.
a Van Veen
It does
from
seem,
Motherwell.
it
If
does-
you're going to play that style, get that type of
Yeah,
striker.
it does seem like Robbie Nielsen sat down and said, "I want Shankland," and then when that deal nearly went tits up, he sort of went, "Well, I've not really looked at any backups.
Aye.
I want Shankland."
Don't get me wrong, we're no slagging Shankland because he has been good.
Oh yeah,
Shankland's
He's a good
Shankland's
player.
an
What a
What a
excellent-
great striker he is.
Excellent
He is
goal
not
scorer,
getting
but-
the support that he needs,
no
or
chance.
the
Ever
type
since-
of player around him that
Ever
he's going to
since
score for.
Boyce got injured, Shankland sort of went invisible a little bit because
Yeah.
he's having to do everything himself.
To be fair to Shankland, though, he's already scored double the goals of what he scored last season in the Villa.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
scored
it's only
four
October.
goals in the league now.
I think he's got
he's
six,
I mean,
six overall. I
and he
think.
scored like 3 or 2 or 3
Aye,
goals.
and that's in
last
about
season.
15
You know what I
overall
mean?
games. That's
It's
that's
decent,
good.
like.
But yeah, he can get 20 goals this season. But the fact that the rest of the team are no pitching in, Alan Forrest's maybe got 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Barney
got a
Mackay's
couple.
got 1.
But it was the
Aye.
same as last season. You know, Boyce got what, 14, 15 goals. Who was next?
It was Janelli.
Janelli.
Aye, but
Was
how
Janelli
many,
had
like,
about
4
6
goals?
or 4? It
Aye.
was something ridiculously low.
You know what I mean? So it's the exact same. We're so defensive minded that we don't know how to play at the front three. Like, the midfield is meant to be the bridge that connects the defence and attack, but our midfield is so defensive.
Yeah.
It's like having 7 defenders.
He's made too many signings in midfield where the players are too similar.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
Harren,
got Harren,
Devlin,
yeah.
Benny, and Keel.
Cute.
All
They're all,
defenders.
the same.
they're all the same player.
And the only other player who can play in there when you're playing a middle 2 is potentially Grant,
Yeah.
who is not a central midfielder.
Nah.
He's an attacking midfielder.
And the jury's out on Grant for me. I
Yeah,
still
and,
think
and Robert Snodgrass, who hasn't played football in about 6 months, and is also
Overweight.
he's also
And yet the quality of that pass for the goal.
Yeah, it was
on
good.
top of that
You
as
can
well.
He still
Is
got
if
it.
you went through if you went through and looked at Robert Snodgrass's career, how many times did he play central midfield? Never. He plays
know.
attacking midfield or out on the right,
The right
or left,
wing. Aye.
and we're playing him in central.
Well, you're not going
midfield
to play
too.
him out on the right or left because he's like 37 years old.
Yeah, no, but then you
So-
play. If you sign Snodgrass, you sign him with the implication that he's going to play attacking midfield
Yeah,
play a
in a
10,
4-2-3-1.
I agree.
And then we sign him, and ever since we've signed him or Keogh, we've not played a 4-2-3-1. We played 5 at the
I
back.
think if you were to play Snodgrass in the 10, you would see improved performances for Barry Mackay, Alan Forrest, Lawrence
You
Sharp.
would. It would
easily.
take. It would take so much. Like Snodgrass is a perfect replacement for Boyce at the moment, but he's not playing the same formation that Boyce was playing well in.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely
This
no
year,
sense.
I've got about it is that the signings we've made in our first team isn't a 4-2-3-1.
No,
It's
I don't-
5 at
He's
the
done
back.
it
five
for
at the
5.
back.
It's
Aye.
5 at the
But
back.
then he started playing a 4-2-3-1.
because of
because
injuries.
it worked a couple of times.
Yeah. The problem is that when you've got everybody fit, you can't fit all our first 11 players in a 4-2-3-1.
No, you can't.
You know, you're not. You don't really want to
Thing
kick
is,
out
though,
Cochrane.
You can't even put them in a back 5 because he's signed 2-3 central midfielders, and there's only 2 spaces.
Well, yeah,
Aye.
yeah.
And when you've got fully fit, he'll still, and he will do it. He'll play Benny and Cammy, which means you've signed Keogh to no play. You've
Harden's
signed
sitting on the
Grant to
bench.
not play. You've signed Harden on an extra year to not play.
Mm-hmm.
You've signed Snodgrass to not play.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like Snodgrass was a panic signing because he never got anybody in. So he thought free transfer.
Snodgrass was a
Robert
panic
Snodgrass.
signing,
Who better get somebody
Yeah.
to
I think
appease
it
the
was just
fans a little
numbers,
bit.
Right, Robert Snodgrass for me, he's probably excellent to have in the changing room. He looks like a sort of player who's got a personality. But is he gonna come on and change a game at 35 years old? Look what happens to every time we've signed a player who's been older. It tends to work out really badly.
Yeah.
I mean, Glenn Whelan, for example, is the perfect
Oh,
example.
Stephen Naismith's really the only one.
Aaron Hughes as well. He was shockingly bad.
Yeah.
Like 40 years old when we signed him. And I'm just trying to think. There's probably more you can think of. But yeah, every time you sign an older player because of the name on the shirt, Snodgrass 3-4 years ago would have been a top signing.
I still think he's got a good, like Jason was saying, a still good pass on him. I bet his vision's quality. I bet his game management's
Yeah,
quality.
definitely.
But
but
it's just
he's
that.
probably
It's
adapted
he's
to
obviously
that.
signed him for the league
Yeah.
and the cups.
he'll
Yeah.
be good to have in the dressing room and at training as well.
Yeah.
For
I
the
think
young guys to
The thing is, I think the European adventure's been great. Don't get me wrong, but I think once that's over, the league performances should improve because we're no juggling
Yeah.
Thursday, Sunday,
Also
Thursday,
got-
Sunday. We've not got the squad for it. We just at
2
the
month
moment.
gap as well.
And there's the World Cup coming up, which should get players back. So
I don't see Kami going.
I do.
I
think
I
he's gonna
hope he
get a whole
does
lot.
because I think it'd be good for his confidence.
No,
but
because in the competitive games that they played, he's not been picked in the squad, but he got picked to play against New Zealand in a
yeah,
friendly.
that's true.
Friendly.
Didn't get picked in a
He
competitive
might,
squad.
to be fair.
For me, he deserves to go. He's been excellent for us. I don't
Rolls will go.
think Nate will go, but
Nate will go.
I can't see him making a full tournament without getting injured. He needs those 2 months to
I
sit down
know.
and have a rest because he's obviously going to be one of these players that we might have to look after a little bit.
I think Rolls definitely, if he's fit, he'll go.
Kai Rolls
He-
is
he was
fantastic.
Good.
First
He
few
is
games
really
this
Like
season.
good.
that is scouting at its finest. He is an excellent player.
He is really
to
good.
sign a player who's that good, who can play on the left hand side of a back 2, who's also left footed, it's rare.
Yeah. Yeah. He's really good.
He's excellent.
The
I
good-
think
good
he's
in
good.
the air
I've
as well.
seen him
He's
in
good.
anyway.
He doesn't seem phased by anything.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I've seen his facial expression change other than when he got
Ah,
injured.
he's just no bothered, does
He's
he?
just like he's got the
Aye.
ball. His feet. He's like that's no
And even
problem.
then, that injury was a freak as well because he scored and then he got injured.
That was that fucking St John's.
St John's there, a bunch of
But,
dirty bastards for any
fuck,
St John's fans
Absolutely
listening.
hate playing St Johnston. Hate playing Motherwell.
Hate playing
Motherwell
West
not so
County
much
as
now
well.
because it was Graham Alexander that made them that way. But Motherwell not so much now. But yes,
Kilmarnock as well. That was terrible. The
they play lump
like,
ball. Like I don't understand
Shocking,
why
mate.
Kilmarnock, who have a very, very, very good technical manager, are punting the ball up the park because it's clearly not working.
It's just the sort of players they have, though.
Well,
isn't
they're
it?
sitting rock bottom of the table, aren't
Yeah.
they? They're second bottom in the roundabout there anyway.
Yeah, it's just not good enough. Like it's just not good enough at all for Hearts. Like,
No, it's
and I
not.
don't see it changing in the next couple of weeks. I really don't. Well, we've got Aberdeen on Sunday.
Yeah, and then Celtic.
Tough game.
There's no European game midweek, so it'll be Aberdeen and Celtic,
Then RFS.
and then RFS, which thankfully I am not going to.
Then Ross County away. Then Istanbul away.
Istanbul.
In
that's-
Istanbul.
Might as well write that off right now because
You know, right. So we've
They're
got
the best
Aberdeen
team
at
in
the
the group.
weekend. We should win. I mean, we should be winning against Aberdeen.
Well, Aberdeen are coming off a 4-0 loss to Dundee United. We're coming off a 5-1 hump into Fiorentina. So
Yeah.
it's probably going to be two really shit teams in a really shit game.
it's either going to be a
That-
0-0 or a 5-all.
That has a draw written all over it.
Yeah, it has,
no,
it has.
really does.
Which at this stage I
I'll
would
be
probably
on it with a
take.
draw, to be fair, against
I'll probably
Aberdeen.
take because it halts a rot, doesn't it? So
And then Celtic, just hope we keep it low scoring.
Celtic are phenomenal.
Celtic is damage control.
Yeah.
Celtic are
I
phenomenal. at the
hate to
moment.
say it about Celtic, but Celtic are an absolute quality team. I mean, look at Rangers, right? They've not been great this season, but they're still absolutely hammered up.
Oh, aye. But that's
Celtic
just
are a
the
different
golfing
level.
quality, though, isn't it? Like,
You-
you know, it is. They're
I-
just too good.
I
for
respect
us, like.
I respect Joe Savage for coming out and saying that he wants to catch Rangers and Celtic. It's good ambition to have, but if you're going to make the signings that we've signed and have performances like we've performed, you're never going to catch them.
If
We
you
can.
if you
I don't think we can.
if you're going to try and catch Celtic and Rangers, you can't be signing George Grant for Peterborough for £250,000. It's as simple as that.
No.
It has to be a higher calibre of player than that.
But it all comes with uncertainty spending that sort of money. So, as Hearts fans, do we want the club to go into a little bit of debt to buy players that might get us there? Or, as Hearts fans who have witnessed our club die and saved, want to keep it afloat, finish 4th, 5th, 3rd every
It
year,
does seem like
maybe
that.
challenge for Europe,
It seems like
invest
that.
in the stadium, invest in the club, invest in the youth, and see what happens.
That's exactly what
You know,
you said there. Is
it's-
everything about Hearts is about keeping a steady ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Robbie Nielsen, defensive manager, keeps a steady ship.
You know that
The
he's
players we've signed, all very defensive.
you know that with those players and that manager now, we're probably not going to get relegated again. So we're going to be mid-table to 3rd for
Yeah.
the next few seasons until the players start to get older or the better players are going to leave, because I can't see Hearts keeping the likes of Cammy Devlin for long if he carries on the way he's playing.
No, but the thing is, though, when it comes to that, Hearts need to get to that stage where they can turn around and say to a team, if you want to sign Cammy Devlin, he's gonna cost you £5 million.
Yeah.
He's not gonna cost you 250k and then he's at the door.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Cammy Devlin is better than that.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Rangers and Celtic; their selling price for 20 million. It's not just Rangers and Celtic. How much did Deutsch move for from Hibs to Bologna or wherever he went? The
Left back.
Aye,
Oh,
what's
like
his name
3
again?
million?
3
I'm not
million
sure. How
pounds.
much was
Yeah.
Lewis Ferguson when he left?
5 million,
Was it
2
2
million.
million?
something like that.
million.
Ramsey was 6
Yeah,
million
exactly.
to Liverpool.
You've
Well,
got
there
other
you go.
teams around you who are selling players to teams like that for millions of pounds,
Yeah.
and we're losing John Suter for free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
John Suter, who
Aye.
is easily a £5 million football player,
Well, when he's
or he was for Hearts.
£5 million, one good leg
Yeah,
football player.
yeah, I think he's.
I think the difference is that Celtic and Rangers have a quality of squad. Most of them in their football team could play low-end Premier League down south. Most Hearts players could play mid-table Championship. You know, there's only a few that could really make it high-end Championship. You know what I mean? That the gulfing quality between us. You know, Ryan Kent signed for Rangers for what? 7
Seven and a
million.
half.
£7.5 million.
£7 million. You know, you can't compete with teams like this.
No.
You know, they pay their players like 25, 30 grand a week.
I mean, I think everybody that supports Hearts will agree that their best players are probably Craig Gordon, obviously. Kingsley would be in with a shout. Kingsley's played in the Championship,
Yeah.
and now he's at Hearts, which tells you
Yeah.
he's maybe no good enough for the Championship. And he's probably your best player, as far as I'm concerned, quality-wise.
Yeah, I can't think of any other players. In the
I can't
team
think
that
of anybody
played
that's-
champion.
I think if
I
Craig
think Stephen-
Halkett was fit
Yes, absolutely.
all season,
Yeah.
he could play in the
But I think Stephen
High up
Kingsley is
Championship.
on a different level to most of the Hearts
Ah,
players.
Yeah.
I
But
think
he's played at a
Devlin,
decent level.
Devlin's getting there.
Devlin-
Devlin's getting better every week. I see him,
Cammy
to be
Devlin is
honest.
built for English football because English football is there's a lot more time on the ball, right? And Cammy Devlin is built to be that player that just pushes teams to lose possession. He can do it in the Scottish League, but the Scottish League's fast anyway.
Yeah.
So it's constantly bang, 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 bang. So Cammy Devlin can chase the ball about. But if you put him in a team like, well, we're watching Man United for instance, a player like Cammy Devlin, who sits in the central midfield and just hunts the ball down, he would thrive. Absolutely thrive in that league. I could see him signing for maybe not a Premier League team, but definitely a Championship.
High-end Championship team, easy.
Yeah, easy.
I think
Nottingham
he's that
Forest might sign him. They signed everybody else.
good. That's true.
I think Benny's good enough to maybe play Champions.
Definitely, if
Benny
he
will
can stay
never,
injury-free.
he'll never do it. His injuries are the reason Everton let him go.
Yeah.
And look at him now. He's not back till next year. 2023.
World
Yeah.
Cup, they reckon, after the World Cup.
Yeah, and he's is he going to be the same player?
No.
I just, after the World Cup, Hearts need to have a very strong run in the league.
Well,
Picking
we done it
points
last
up.
year. Remember we done it last year. We had a really poor run up to Christmas, and then we had the little winter break, and then the next thing we flew into 2022
Yeah.
fighting, and we were excellent.
And then April, May was shocking.
Yeah, and it dropped back down again.
As soon as they reached the cup final.
As soon as we were
Everything
in,
went to
as
shit.
soon as we were in the
Aye.
final, that was shocking.
After
like.
that Hibs result in the semi-final, everyone went to shit.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
Which is, aye.
Shocking.
Shocking.
That is shocking. Like.
And it's even worse now because up until Tuesday, Hibs were on a run of 4 wins in a row, playing better football under their new manager.
I was quite surprised to see Hibs lose that game.
Aye,
They played so
they
well.
dominated
Because they
it,
played
though.
against 11 men. They've only won against 10 men.
Yeah,
in all
they
the
have
matches.
every game.
Every
It's
game.
true.
10 men.
Oh yeah, and even the draw against Rangers at
10 men.
Oh wow!
Aye, it's
And
true.
us, 11 men, but they drew 2-2.
Aye,
They
well,
shouldn't have.
Did Josh Ginnelly play? Because then that means technically we did play.
aye. Ginelli, that's a subject that I think the Hearts fans are a little bit divided on. Josh
I don't know
Ginelli,
why. I
actually.
don't know why.
Oh,
I genuinely, it honestly baffles me that people
that can't
defend
be a
him.
high percentage.
We
That can't
no,
be
but
a high
we
percentage
sit in
of
the
Hearts fans.
we sit in the stand every week and we hear people defending him, and
Go on, Gino, run it
Aye.
He doesn't run at people. He's never run.
Oh.
He runs at them and he turns around and he pucks his tail between his
all I
legs.
can think
Then he
is-
goes and does an interview and says he wants to fucking leave. Fucking leave.
How can you support a player who says, I don't have a home here, I don't feel loved, I don't suit the system that we're playing? So why would you support a player like
That is
that?
a shocking interview to give.
Don't get me wrong,
I know.
anybody that pulls on that maroon jersey, you support them. Simple as that. But to come out with comments like that,
Well, what got me is this annoyed me so much.
he obviously thinks he's good enough
So-
for somebody else.
George Jorge Grant went and got himself sent off against Zurich, and he was punished by not getting a game for about 3 games. Right, Cammy Devlin got sent off against Rangers, and he got punished by getting dropped for the next game. And we had to bring him on because we got a player sent off. But Josh Ginnelly goes out and complains that he doesn't even want to be at the club, and then he starts. What does that paint a picture to your rest of your team? I can do whatever I want because I'm going to get a game anyway.
Aye.
I don't know if they're playing him to get him in the shop window.
It's not going to work because he's terrible. He's been
He's
terrible.
looking
They
worse,
want rid
though.
him. They
Yeah,
want
do.
rid
I,
him. Like.
I can't see Robbie Nielsen wanting to keep him, but at the same time, there should be space in that squad for players who want to be there.
Yeah.
Yep.
But are you going to let the guy that's getting $3,000 a week, $4,000 a week, sit on the bench,
Yeah,
do nothing?
yeah. You have to let him rot.
You know.
You have to teach him a lesson. You can't just say, "Oh, it's okay, Josh. I understand you want to leave. So what we'll do is we'll change formation so we can play you, and then we still lose anyway.
Yeah.
Because you done fuck all in the
It
game.
annoys me
Because you
because
death track back.
he walks about with that fucking smug look on his face every week like he's God's gift. And I've never seen him beat a man. Not once have I
No,
seen him
he's
take somebody on and
shocking.
beat them.
He's got a
this
decent
season.
finish on him, eh?
He has.
He's
I agree
just-
with that.
Lazy.
He's just lazy.
For a
yeah,
player
yes,
who's so
yes.
quick and so fast off the mark, he's so lazy.
Yeah.
And there's so much. His attitude stinks, and there's nothing worse in football than a talented player with a
Yeah,
shit attitude, because it is shocking.
It's not just that, but also that affects the rest of your players as well. If they see him getting away with that, there's a lot of young lads in that squad who will
Yeah.
think, well, if he can do it,
I mean, he's the first player that if Hearts go 1-0 down, he's the first player to stop trying.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's
Yeah, it's
just the
like-
first player he gives up.
I mean, we've got the United game on now, and there's a player in that team, Cristiano Ronaldo, who's exactly the same. If United go a goal down, the arms are up, he's blaming everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying they're the same level because they're clearly not, but
Well,
I
this
know
season,
Gino's better.
this season maybe.
this season, this season, they're
Gino's probably got
definitely-
more goals actually. But it's the same thing, you know. They think they're the main man in the team, and then when the team's not doing very well, they don't want to know about it.
Nah, they
Ginelli's like that.
There's a few players in the team like that at the moment, which is really disappointing because Barry Mackay's like that. If Hearts go 1-0 down, Barry Mackay invisible
Yeah, he disappears.
until something happens around him for him to maybe wake up a bit.
Yeah, I think they're all a bit like that. To be fair, you know, out of the last few games, we conceded so early within
You know-
like 5 minutes.
5
like, we've
minutes.
The thing
conceded.
is, though,
like,
it's like it must get to you that every single game you go 1-0 down in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It must get to you over time, and your heads will start to drop. But the thing is, though, when your heads start to drop, you always look for a leader in the team to turn around and say, "Keep your heads up, let's do this." And I can see that on the pitch. But does Robbie Nielsen instill any confidence in those players when it's like, "Oh, we've went 1-0 down. What we'll do now is we'll just sit back."
I'd be interested
shocking.
to see a poll for Hearts fans. Robbie in, Robbie out. Right now,
I think at the start of
I
the
think
season, it would have been 80-90% in, but now you're talking 50-50.
I think
Nah.
before that Rangers game, I think it was at 50-50 because the results still weren't great, but then that performance was poor. The Fiorentina performance was poor.
the Kelly performance.
The
was
terrible. I think it'll be leaning more towards out now.
if they
even-
sacked Robbie Nielsen tomorrow, what would be your first thought? Harsh or deserved?
He got us Europe, and he deserved the chance to take us there. I
It's
just think
tough.
his game management is so bad.
It is, isn't it?
His
Honestly.
substitutes
It
have
is,
no
it's terrible.
effect.
Like,
It's bad. It's really bad.
They
His
never
team
change his shape.
selections are awful. I mean, I get it, he's played there before, but we've talked about it earlier. That Andy Halliday at left wing back is a fucking recipe for disaster because he's got no pace, it's no his natural position. We've got players who can be playing there. Cochrane
Yeah.
can play there. He plays there.
Yeah.
Play him there. Play Sibic, who's a centre back, at centre back.
Andy
and then
Halliday-
you can move Halliday into midfield because he's got that experience.
Andy Halliday is a midfielder. Like he is a midfielder. He's not the sort of midfielder who's going to split defences where he's passing. He's just an older, slower version of Cammy Devlin. Like he used to do
Yeah.
that. That was his
Yeah.
job.
It was.
He can't really do that now. But if you're gonna play him there, where he'll give you something.
He scored 2 goals against Hibs last season.
He did.
From
Playing
that
midfield.
position.
Playing midfield,
Yeah.
yeah. I just don't think he's a left back. Well, I mean, he's played
He's
there.
a
He played there for
utility
Rangers.
player.
Don't get me
He's
wrong.
a
but-
utility player.
Yeah.
So he'll play
The thing-
anywhere on that pitch he's asked to, and
thing-
he'll give
yeah.
100% doing it.
Oh, I
and that's
agree.
the difference between him and every other player on that pitch tonight.
Aye.
That's the difference.
Yeah,
He will play. Him and Kingsley will
Kingsley
play
kept
anywhere.
playing.
asked.
Gordon never gives up. Andy Halliday constantly. He might not be good, but at least he tries. Cammy Devlin's head never drops.
I will say something as well. He's only played a few games, but I think Stephen Humphreys, he's got the right attitude.
He's really
He
good.
has
He's actually
not
quite decent,
stopped
actually,
running
yeah.
since he came to Hearts.
I'm surprised why Wigan let him go. He's
I know.
actually quite decent.
Really good in the air. We've noticed
Apparently
that a couple of
the,
times.
apparently the Wigan fans didn't want to leave.
Oh, really?
They never wanted to leave.
I saw it on Twitter when he signed for Hearts. They were a bit disappointed. But
They said he didn't score many goals, but his work rate's the same.
Yeah,
And that's
aye.
what I've seen from him. as
his
well.
finishing's been good as well.
I
It was a
know.
good goal he
That
scored.
post
And
the day.
Hit the post as
nearly
well.
scored early on now.
Oh man,
Early doors.
that was
That'd
terrible.
be nice.
Yeah.
Aye.
I just think it's poor attitude. It's poor game management. Tonight is the only time I've seen this season where Robbie Nielsen's changed a formation during a game and it's actually worked.
Aye.
Well, it doesn't make it. So you watch any team in modern day football, is when they've got the ball, they play forward, they play a certain formation. When they lose the ball, they might drop to a different formation. I've never seen a team, except us this season, play 5 at the back, 2 in midfield, 3 up front, when we've got the ball and when we've not got the ball. We just
Yeah.
play, when we've not got the ball, the only difference is we dropped our own fucking box.
Usually a 3-5-2 attacking and a 5-3-2 defending, but it's a 5-3-2 all the time.
Yeah, it's like the what makes a back 5 work, and this is why it only works with top managers and top teams, because you go back in time and see how many 5 at the backs have won a Champions League.
Yeah.
You'll find very limited amounts, right? Thomas Tuchel can do it because he had 2 world-class wing backs.
Yeah.
And then Conte does it because he signs world-class wing backs.
Who have we got?
We've got Nate Atkinson, who's basically been on one leg all season, and Michael Smith, who's 34. And on the other side, we've got Cochrane, who can do it perfectly fine,
Yeah.
but the backup to him is Andy Halliday,
Who's a midfielder?
who's a midfielder.
When ideally you would want Stephen Kingsley there.
Stephen Kingsley would be absolutely...
Because that left foot is ridiculously
He'd be
good
perfect
for
there.
crosses.
But I think the
shooting.
reason Stephen Kingsley moved to centre back in a back three is because he picks up a lot of injuries.
He does.
So I think he's got muscle injuries. So if you're playing at the back, he'd have to run quite as much. And when he was playing on that left wing, if he was bombing up and doing it, he was out every 2 or 3 games.
I do
all the
think
time,
that
wasn't he?
left sort of side of the centre back allows him to also make runs forward, and then
True.
Cochrane can
But
come
not
back
as
in and
much.
cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can make these long strides. You know, what we missed this season is John Souttar's cross
Cross-field
ball
balls.
and running forward and making play. You know, he done that all the time last season.
Cochrane
all
done
them
it
cross-field
once
passes.
this season in
Yeah.
a game. He done it in the Zurich game.
The Zurich game,
Second,
and that's the best
and
performance
he
of the
was
season.
excellent. He was pinging balls across, and Nielsen steps out of mid defence. But Nielsen's confidence is taking such a hit that when he plays at the back now, he just sits back. You don't see him move forward.
He's a young lad.
But
too.
he's 18, he's 19,
He's going to
exactly.
take time to develop. He looks a talent. He
He's
really
going to be an
does.
excellent player, but we've had to throw him in at the deep end.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
of injuries. But
I mean,
at the
his
same
first-
time,
His first European game was the RFS game. He had to come on as a sub because
Yeah.
And he
there
played
was
really well.
another
It was
injury.
unreal.
Played really
And
well.
he was
Unreal.
he was
but at
brilliant.
the same time, you're thinking to yourself, you know, I've got injuries at the back. Nielsen's 18. He shouldn't be playing every single game just yet. Why not play Toby Sibic?
Yep.
There's something going on there.
I think there's an issue with Sibic. But the thing is, though, Sibic's had poor performances, right? And you might get people who reply to this podcast and say he's not good enough, right? Name a player on that team that is currently good enough to play.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah, like Cochrane has played 4 games at centre back now. He's been absolutely shocking
Yeah,
at all
I
4.
know.
So why is he still playing him at centre back? Just play Sibic. He might not be as good, but I can guarantee you it'll be better than Cochrane.
I
at
think
centre
Sibic makes more sense anyway because
does.
then you can have Kingsley at left centre back where he's more comfortable.
Exactly.
Sibic right centre back.
Peter-
It's a more balanced.
Peter Haddon for a whole season played centre back for Hearts.
Yeah.
So he can play there. So why? Oh, okay, we're just going back on ourselves with the defence.
I know.
Honestly, it just winds me up. I don't understand it. It's like playing Football Manager and clicking random, and then they just put like Lawrence Shanklin at centre back.
Right, so let's talk about Robbie Nielsen. Where do we stand?
If he loses,
So right,
Because let's not forget what he's done.
you can't judge him on the Fiorentina games.
No,
Right.
because they're a level.
no,
they're not just one level
you
above us.
You can judge them because the performance is shocking. We made a shit Hearts team look shitter. You know, we made ourselves look shitter than we actually
I
are.
have to say, second half tonight, Hearts, when they actually got in Fiorentina's faces, they played alright. Yeah, we're looking at the stats.
The second
here.
half,
Wow.
was 1-1. And they brought in people like Artur Cabral. You know what I mean?
Who's a £14 million
Yeah,
pound player.
Bringing a
Aye.
14 million
You know what I mean?
pound player.
Aye.
You know, I'm not the stats look absolutely shocking, but you know it's Fiorentina. But the performance is shocking. In the second half, we played 5 at the back. We got in their faces. We pressed them. We got a goal. We actually looked a little bit dangerous. Why couldn't we do that in the first half?
I'm not seeing a tackle stat there. I'm seeing fouls. Fiorentina with more fouls than Hearts. I'd be interested to see how many tackles.
I know, but who got
Hearts
more yellow
made.
cards?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye. Well,
Oh,
there's,
that always happens, doesn't it?
yeah. I mean, the Fiorentina players are.
You can look at that. That's not just Hearts. That's every British team in the
Yeah.
Champions
Pass
League,
accuracy.
in the Europa League. There is such.
Look at the pass accuracy.
71% pass accuracy for just 271 passes.
That's really bad.
That's bad.
isn't it? It's
Aye.
really bad.
Shocking.
Considering they had 87% for nearly 600 passes.
Only one offside each.
Oh, that's good. Hey!
We drew with something.
I mean, aye, that's what 2 forward runs for Hearts.
I think we give Robbie Nielsen until Christmas.
The thing is, though, you can.
Well, I mean, you could say up to the World Cup to start with and see how results go.
So, right, so you would give him right now. Say to him, you've got Aberdeen, Celtic, RFS, Ross County.
Wipe the Istanbul game because there's no chance
Yeah,
that's
ignore the
happening.
Istanbul game. You've got
Motherwell.
Motherwell, and then you've got Rangers.
If he loses against Aberdeen and Ross County, sack him.
If we don't get a result against Aberdeen,
Win.
He
If
needs.
we don't win.
Yeah, he needs to be told your job's on the line.
Yeah, Celtic
If you
is
get,
a different animal.
No, but the thing is, though, you see if we go out and play Celtic and get beat 5-0, that's an issue. But you see if we get beat 1-0 and play really well, you can say well done. You've pushed it right.
I've actually got
But then when you come at the RFS game, you should be able to turn around and say, you beat them away, beat them at Tynecastle.
I've actually got no issues losing 5-0 to Celtic if we try.
Yeah, yeah.
Have a go at them. Celtic
That's-
are there to be had a go at.
Both.
Same as what Rangers were, but Hearts sat off and let Rangers play.
It's the same with Old Firm.
That's the issue.
He's
I've
got no
with all the
tactics
things.
for any team that is bigger than Hearts.
But the problem
He's got
is
no tactics.
that we're not expected to beat these teams.
Oh, we're not.
So what's left to lose?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? How many draws have we gotten against Celtic or Rangers in the past 3 seasons?
Oh, jeez.
What did we get last season?
Beat
We
Celtic
drew
at
Rangers once
Tynecastle
and beat Celtic
and
once.
drew with Rangers at Ibrox.
That's it.
And that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Which is decent.
Which is decent. But that's lucky. You know, that Celtic game at the start of last season was lucky. We got that win.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Very
Celtic
lucky.
were in disarray at that,
That
point.
Rangers
Had a new
game was
manager
lucky.
and-
Yeah, it was
93rd minute or something
93rd
like
minute
that.
Craig
It was
Halkett
that.
header when you should have been about 4-0 down
Yeah.
anyway. But again, that was Craig Gordon and
Halkett,
certain
Suter.
players papering over the cracks.
Huh?
If you have a look at the stats from last season, I'm pretty sure Hearts and I think it was Motherwell were 2 teams who faced most shots, and the keeper was called in action most.
Yeah, yeah.
And you'd think,
yeah.
how did we finish 3rd if we faced that many
Craig
shots?
Gordon.
Because we've got a world-class goalkeeper.
Excuse my language, but we are fucked when he retires.
Yeah, well,
No,
I mean,
we're
we've
not,
got a
we're
really
not.
good backup
We're not.
goalkeeper now.
I think we're lucky. We've got Xander Clark, who's an excellent goalkeeper.
But how
right?
long is he going to
But-
say, I'm going to sit on the bench and
Oh,
wait
is
for
he?
Craig
No,
Gordon to
he's
retire?
30,
He's
right?
30 now,
So,
aye.
but the thing is, though, you can bring in Xander Clark. He's not going to do the same as Craig Gordon to that level, so we're going to concede a little bit more goals. But then you still have to turn around and say, well, why are the defence letting so many shots in? Why is our goalkeeper having to do so much?
Yeah.
I think that comes down to application of the players.
It's
They're not throwing themselves
It's-
into challenges to block the shots.
It must be tactical as well, though.
Oh, that as well.
The
aye,
central
100%.
midfielders must be getting told to not drop back in, because they don't follow runs in.
Nah.
Like anybody be playing central midfield doesn't track back.
Nah.
So they've been told to stay in central midfield to keep that secure, and then but that's leaving a gap between the back 3 and your middle 2. But the thing is, though, when you play a middle 2, and like we seen it tonight, Fiorentina come out and play a middle 3, and then they just completely overrun us in central midfield.
Like last Thursday at home, I was trying to understand what our tactics were.
There
Like,
weren't, there
I
weren't
was
any
trying to
tactics
understand
from
what
I
we were
could see.
actually trying to do, because we weren't trying to count them on a counter because they never left anybody up.
No.
We weren't pressing even in our own half
We only pressed them
when they got to like the final third.
when they got close to the final
Aye.
third. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't understand what our game plan was. Like, how were we even going to try and get something from that game last week?
I see another issue too. Well, it's the same thing. There's no an identity. There's no style.
No.
It's just get the
Defensive.
ball and get rid of it.
Yeah.
There's no style. The goals that we have come from moments of magic, for a Barry Mackay pass or Stephen Humphries tonight. It was a Mackay pass, was it? No, I'm sure. Snodgrass's pass against Kilmarnock, brilliant.
Yeah.
They're moments of magic. They're no anything to do with tactics.
No, they're not.
There's no identity in that team right now.
The problem is our tactics are so defensive that we lump the ball up, and then you've actually got nobody that can even try and
You're
keep
just
the ball.
inviting pressure
You
all
know,
the time.
even Humphreys isn't even that tall. How is he meant to
Humphreys can
keep
leap like
the
a
ball?
Oh,
up?
he's
salmon,
he's
though.
really
you know,
good
but
in there.
like
But-
he's not a player that can keep
But
the
the thing
ball.
is, though, Humphreys can win a header, but if you're up front by yourself and you win a header, what's the point?
and Barry Mackay's not fast enough to catch up.
No. Barry Mackay's quick with the ball at his feet,
Yeah.
and he's got a quick change of direction, but he's not the player to play off a striker.
Ever since he cut his hair, it's been shit.
Right, bring back the Gorgie Graylish haircut.
Gorgie Graylish.
Where's the
That's
Gorgie
it.
Graylish
Gordon
haircut?
Grealish is Humphreys now with the fucking socks.
Oh, yeah, pull your socks
I
out.
don't like that. I don't like that. You're no good enough to wear your socks like that.
So what are you guys saying about Robbie Nelson then?
I mean, I still.
I mean, I proved it last season. I was Robbie in every time we done this podcast, but I'm now at the stage where I'm seriously I can't make my mind up. Because my two things into my thinking is, if we keep him and the performances get a little bit better, what's to stop it happening again?
Yeah.
Because last season it happened. This season it's happening. Next season it might happen again. But if you sack him, who the f*** do you bring in?
Nah, there's a serious lack of candidates for that.
There is. I mean, if you look around the SPL and think, because Aberdeen done it. Aberdeen took Jim Goodwin because Jim Goodwin had a good run with St Mirren, so they went and took him. If you look at any managers in the SPL that could potentially place Robin Nielsen, Stephen Robinson.
None. I wouldn't have
I
any
wouldn't
of them.
even say Stephen Robinson.
Stephen
I wouldn't
Robinson.
have any other manager.
Stephen Robinson's the closest, but at the same time, he's getting St Mirren playing well, but his win percentage at Morecambe was about 12%.
Yeah. It's shocking. Shocking. Hart can only pull in a manager that's either managed the club before, played for the club before, or is a League One championship level down south. Low championship level down south.
So why
because
don't-
championship clubs can pay
Why don't
4
you
times
take?
the salary.
Why don't you take some of that money that we've earned and instead of paying for players that are mediocre to average, why not spend it on a manager?
Because managers like that require a lot of investment in the football club.
I mean, you could turn to them and say, you know what, we're in Europe, right? We've proved we can get into Europe. Here's the money we've earned from Europe. Go and build something with a team. You've got
Yeah.
a stadium that's full. You've got fans that love the club. There's a really good foundation for a club there.
I just think it all comes back to the: do you want Hearts to overspend to maybe get back to these?
I would
sort of
overspend on
places?
a manager. Definitely overspend on a
I
manager.
just
Because
think that
a good manager can even make bad players play well.
But who do you get?
Exactly.
Who do you get?
we can only get certain managers.
But
and
then
certain
that
players
that
like-
the same thing is a double-edged sword because Robbie Nielsen shouldn't think that his job's safe just because there's nobody else to get.
Yeah. But then you
But
look...
Robbie Nielsen's job, on credit, should be safe. The man's
yeah.
got like an over 55% win rate. It's Hearts.
but over 55% win rate. But last season, at the end of the season, it was 60.
Yeah.
So his percentage is massively dropping because he's losing games he shouldn't be
Yeah.
losing.
I think we all agree here. If we sat there in that stand, no Celtic or no I gotta be at Celtic, but if we were, and we saw a team who had an identity, tried to play the right way, got in Celtic's faces, and fair enough, maybe they'll lose, we would be alright with that. We would say, you know what? That's fine. I like watching that. At least they gave it a shot. At least there was an identifiable tactic. The changes that they made were good, blah blah blah. But we're not seeing that. I can guarantee I know what's going to happen in the Celtic game. We're going to get beat 4-0. It's as simple as
I
that.
think it's going to be more than that.
Anytime we come up
I'm
against a
genuinely
team
worried.
that are bigger than Hearts, he's got no tactics.
How many goals have we conceded in the past 6 matches?
Oh, it's a lot. It's 12 in Europe.
Let's have a look, see? Right, so if we go back to... what?
5.
Hang on, we'll go further back than that. So, these are all pretty poor.
Go back
So,
to the Istanbul game.
start
Alex.
from
Five.
Istanbul, right? 4.
Right.
And then we actually
8.
won 2 games.
So in 4 games...
With 2 clean sheets as well.
Aye, so it's 4... This is in what?
4 against Istanbul, 4 against
Istanbul, 4
Rangers,
against
3 against
Rangers,
Fiorentina,
Fiorentina.
2 against
11.
Kilmarnock,
2 against Kilmarnock,
5
That's
against
13.
5
Fiorentina.
against Fiorentina.
That's 18.
How many
18
we scored?
goals. 2,
5.
5,
7, 8.
3 against Motherwell.
8.
so
8.
almost double. Conceded.
They're no good
In
stats.
6 matches.
In 6 matches.
In 6 matches.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
That's embarrassing. It is. That is embarrassing.
I'm looking at these fixtures here and I still think how we got away from Parkhead with just a 2-0 defeat
You know
that
what-
day.
you know
With,
what-
the, with the squad that he picked
You know
that
what
day
else
as well.
absolutely blows my mind though? We were fantastic in pre-season.
Yeah.
Not just that,
It's just
but I mean, we
friendlies,
said
though.
it
I know,
before.
was a bit
but
sceptical.
you say that, but at the same time, as you watch I was at one of the friendlies, and we played some really good, tight, accurate football, but it's gone.
Yeah.
Like they can't. Like Cammy Devlin probably can't even find Keogh, who's 5 feet away from him, without something going wrong.
I have not seen Hearts play well since that Zurich game. I think the Zurich game done it for us.
Yeah, even when we
We
beat,
were excellent
beat
in that
Motherwell
first half.
3-0, but
yeah.
we didn't dominate the
We
game.
didn't play well, no.
That was a really good game, actually. I said after that,
Yeah.
I thought that was the best performance I think I've seen at Tyngastle in a long
But
time.
like we didn't. It wasn't a 3-0 game.
No.
If you look at the stats, I'm pretty sure they had more possession, more shots on target. But again, Craig Gordon, and we just happened for one time
To be
in the
clinical.
last 25 games to be clinical.
Yeah. It's just not good enough. Like.
No, this has just basically been like a 50-minute rant.
Yeah. So, right. So, to end the podcast, score predictions for Aberdeen away on Sunday.
God.
1-0. Well, we're not going to score more than 1 goal.
1-0.
to Hearts.
I think Barry Mackay's going to score.
A clean sheet.
Aye.
Oh my god.
I think we're going to have 25% possession. Barry Mackay is going to score a screamer. And
gonna put
what do you call him? Xander Clark's going to have a fucking belter of a game.
I'm
like
gonna
in his debut.
I'll put my Hearts hat on and say we'll scrape a 2-1.
2-1. We're
I'll
going to
say
score
2-1.
2 goals.
Well, we have to win because we'll always concede. So
I kind of see it being 1-0 because in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games, Aberdeen have scored in every game apart from the Dundee United game. So in the last 6 games, they've scored in 5 of those 6 games. So they've at least scored a goal.
Yeah.
that Dundee United result was a shocker.
That Dundee
for
United
Aberdeen.
result confused me.
That's a
It didn't
shocker
make
for Aberdeen,
any
yeah.
sense whatsoever. Because even if you look at the stats, Aberdeen should have definitely done better. Because it's 66% possession.
Did they
There's
have
one
somebody
shot on
sent
target.
off?
No.
No, there's
Nah, I
one
thought
shot
they
on
did.
target.
Oh wow.
One
United
shot
had quite a lot.
Dundee United played really well on the counter.
34%, aye. Yeah.
But if you look
14
at everyone,
shots,
I mean,
though.
if you look at everyone else, like pass accuracy, passes made, possession, shots on target, almost everything was Aberdeen's way.
The
apart from
thing
the
is,
scoreline.
despite all this, we're only 3 points off third with a game in hand.
Yes, because
Aye.
it's
Yeah.
because Hibs are third, right, and they had a shit start to the season, so that's why they're only a little bit ahead of us.
What's their form? Draw, loss, win, loss, win.
See, Aberdeen are below us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Aberdeen had a bad start to the season.
Aberdeen are shit. We can beat them.
We should be able to beat anybody in this league apart from maybe the Old Firm. But
Is it? I'm sure it's Rangers Hibs this weekend. Is it no? I'm sure that's the fixtures.
Well, that'll be Hibs losing then. So
No.
that's
No.
winning.
Oh wait, no. Rangers have played Hibs.
We'll
It must
go
be
for it.
Celtic Hibs.
Aye, it is.
I think it is,
Aye,
aye.
it is. It is.
I mean, for like that Celtic team was insane. Their loss to St Mirren confused me.
Aye, it's
It
the miracle.
happens,
It's
though.
the miracle of winning the league after spending £20 million. Oh, that bullshit.
It was
Honestly, if anybody calls him a fucking magician again, I'll slit their throat. I fucking hate it. Honestly, it's an absolute piss take. If you gave Hearts, if you gave Joe Savage £20 million, he could win that league next season.
no Robbie Nielsen in charge.
No.
Are you kidding?
No, I can
No.
guarantee
You
you'd be
could.
like,
You
Robbie,
could.
you've got 20 million quid. Class, 20 million quid, let's buy a centre back.
And a defensive midfielder,
defensive midfielder.
for the second division in Holland. Aye.
To be fair, he did play in a division the past 2 seasons
He did. I mean, I'm.
and got them relegated.
Let's be honest. We can't judge the new players on the form that we're in and the results that we're getting right now, because they've not had a chance to settle in. They are literally thrown in at the deep end and expected just to get on with it.
Especially, you have to take it into consideration as well. We played Fiorentina twice in a row, and how many players in our team have got a European cap?
Craig Gordon.
Craig Gordon, Andy Halliday,
Andy Halliday.
maybe.
Brian Mackay doesn't he?
Um,
I'm sure he left before he even got
None of them. Fiorentina have got like 55 games in Europe or something under their
Oh, it
belts,
must
and
be
they've
more
got
than that.
Bonaventura, who's got like almost.
Oh, he played for AC Milan for
and it's
years.
not just
aye.
that; he's also got like 50 Italian caps.
Aye,
You know what I mean?
He's class.
Like,
And he didn't even play the night.
he
He
got,
just got rested.
yeah, he got arrested. And then
They
you
are
know,
good, to be fair.
They're no.
They're not, but they're better than
They're-
that.
they're good. They're good.
They're better than
Like-
Hearts, but at the same time, as you sit and watch them in Serie A, they're
Yeah, but yeah, shocking.
shocking.
That's going to be the title of this episode.
Things can only
Shocking.
get better, apparently.
We're Robbie Nielsen in charge.
No one
no,
knows
no.
Celtic.
Well,
thing is though, look back on it, 2 years ago, it was Arbroath.
yeah,
Tonight it's Fiorentina.
Yeah, but
so
the
there
thing
has been
that is,
improvements.
Do you think, well, has there?
Well,
Because our performances as the champions are
To be
pretty
fair,
good.
I did say that.
I did say that at the time as well. I did say that.
I did say in the group chat the other day that, 2 years ago, would you have thought that Hearts would be playing on a Thursday night in a competitive game against Fiorentina?
Yeah, when 2 seasons ago we were playing
You know what I mean?
Arbroath and Alloa and
It's good.
and getting beat off Brona Rangers.
It's fucking good, like.
Oh, worst performance ever. Eh?
Worst performance. That's got to be the worst result in Hearts history. Getting beat off Brona.
I take in 5-1 against Fiorentina's pretty bad.
I was scored.
We scored. Respect.
Scored against Fiorentina.
And
Did
at
we not
least it
score
was.
against
At least.
Rangers?
I got beat 2-1 though.
At least it wasn't a 7. Looking at you, Dundee United, Rangers,
Rangers.
Hibs.
I know we
I
were
know.
nearly breaking the record there for worst defeat in Europe. Thank God we didn't.
When
score
it was
another couple.
4-0 after 35 minutes, I thought, oh no, here we go. But
Well, at
Well,
least we
come,
can.
we bring on Mo Salah to score a hat trick in 6.5 minutes. So come we?
no, there is that.
Well, at least we'll take the. We're the only team in Scotland to win a game in Europe to the Championship next season.
Positive
When
as
we're,
always.
when we're sitting play Arbroath next year, we can sit and think,
Aye.
last year we were playing Fiorentina
Aye.
in Istanbul.
Next season it'll be we're in the championship playing a 4-4-2 with Dick Campbell as
Aye.
manager.
I'll get
Craig-
these bastards
aye.
working.
Craig Wynn on the left.
Alright.
Signed the map.
I think you can still get Neil Warnock. He's a good championship man.
Oh,
Big
Jesus.
Sam. Big Sam Allardyce.
Big Sam
He's got a
Allardyce.
job.
Sean Dyche.
4-4 fucking
I have to pay him about $100,000 a week to get him
Sean
there. though.
Dyche is patiently waiting on a Premier League job, probably Aston Villa.
He can get Hearts
Definitely.
Premiership.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'd take him Hearts for a 4-4-2. Yeah.
Just give him the budget,
Aye.
the yearly budget.
Yeah, here
for
you go,
his
mate.
wage.
Here's your 4-4-2. You go sign Chris Wood. 'cause we
Chris
know you
Wood
will.
on loan for Newcastle.
Sell all the foreigners, sign in the Brexit FC.
Maybe, like, by the end of the season, we'll have no manager. Pep Guardiola would have won the Champions League with Man City and thinking, I'm just one of these big clubs. I'm just going to go to another club and not even get paid. And he's thinking, who's that club in Scotland looking for a manager?
Aye.
Hearts.
And then Pep Guardiola will, for the first time in his career, get relegated.
From the championship.
We can get Mikel Arteta and they can show Andy Halliday how to turn on a light bulb.
Screaming at Lawrence Shankland, here is your bubble! Here is your cloud!
Shankland's thinking, how's this scoring goals?
Your forehead is big.
Like this light bulb. Jesus. Well, I hope you've enjoyed listening to the rebirth of the Up the Park football podcast. A podcast dedicated to the only Scottish team in Europe to win a game. Thank you very much for listening.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.